Hello to you all, and welcome to Pyramid Energy. If you're new to the channel, I'm so pleased to have you here. And if you're returning, welcome back. As a start, I'd just like to express my gratitude to everyone who supports the channel. This time that I've spent away without posting has really brought that up for me. Thank you. I'm using this fairy oracle deck. It's called Gentle Wisdom of the Fairy Realms. This first card says faith, and it's got this fairy standing on one fish. You can see from the bubbles above her head, the darkness around her, and the clouds that she's sort of standing on. It's unclear whether she's standing on the fish or standing on the clouds, but she is deep in thought. She's processing a lot of thought. She's processing a lot of ideas as she's sitting. I feel like she's in hermit mode. This is what this card is bringing up for me. We're approaching a full lunar eclipse in Pisces. And so what's standing out for me here is that she's standing on one fish rather than two. And so I'm seeing this as a lot of choices being made. It's as if she's filtering through the dark. She's filtering what really needs to stay, what really needs to remain, almost as I don't know if I want to call it a starting point or a foundation in terms of how she's going to move forward. She's cleaning up. She's cleaning up, and a lot of this is happening in the thought realm. She's also making sure that whatever she is standing on makes sense to her, aligns with her values, and has I'm hearing the velocity to take her somewhere. Okay, so where she needs to go. That choice of word velocity is interesting, but it's as if she's assessed whatever this one fish is, this thing that she is standing on. She's assessed it, and she knows that she can rely on it. Or she knows that she can rely on it to get her to her next fish. Okay, as if this fish is what's leading her direction. Okay, and so she trusts herself. She trusts herself. However, the vehicle that she's moving in, she needs to be able to trust that too. And so that's what she's looking at. That's what she's eyeballing. That's what especially because she knows she's moving through the dark. That's where her thoughts are right now. This next card says Seeker, and it's taking me straight back to the Hermit. I've never seen this card before. I say the Hermit because of how she's holding this candle. The first thing that stood out for me is that this candle looks like the Ace of Cups. And so she knows that there's an opportunity of love that's being presented to her. By this, I mean she has the opportunity to really nurture something that's going to care for her and that she cares about, and that can make love grow within her and around her. This candle that's on, this light, is what she's protecting. She's protecting that light, that ability to always be able to find the truth within herself. This seeker is going through a very solitary time. Okay, I almost said space, I almost said journey, but it's a time. She feels secure. Okay, I'm sensing that she feels secure. She feels guided. However, she knows she needs this light to continue to feel guided. The fact that she's wearing this cloak and there's nothing around her, it feels like there's nothing around her but this cold and this, she's barefoot. She's grounded. She's guided. She's trusting. And you see her hand on her heart. It's tying me back to this Ace of Cups. She's hopeful, but not expectant. Expecting. These words are playing with me. Expectant really means pregnant in the way that I'm understanding it. She is expectant, but she is not expecting. By this, I mean her expectations are open. However, they are open in a very promising direction. She trusts her journey. She trusts herself. And what's striking me quite a bit here is that it's as if for a long time she may have felt that she needed something else, someone else to walk with her on this journey, but that this stretch of the journey needs her to be self-reliant. I don't mean that she needs to cut other people out. I don't mean that she needs to not allow anyone in. I mean that, if you go back to this fish she's standing on, this is the one thing that needs to remain steady. This is the one thing that needs to remain, she needs to continue to provide space for it on an ongoing basis. It's her vehicle. Okay, it's her vehicle, and it resides within her. It resides within her. This next card says Innocence. And, it's bringing up this vulnerability that she now feels very secure in. Vulnerability is something we often look at it as something that we practice, where we expose maybe the most raw parts of us, the most vulnerable parts of us, vulnerability. However, her internal sense of security is allowing her to exercise this vulnerability and practice it in a very secure way. If you look at the first card, look at how her pink dress is. It's as if it's the same dress that she's completely opened up. She's open-hearted and she feels safe to be loved and to express love. I'm seeing someone who, for a long time, was skittish. Like a rescued animal. Until it's given that reassurance and that consistent sense of safety, it remains skittish and can bite and can hurt others. But what happens is that even in this hurting others, it doesn't want to hurt others. And so it starts to build this sort of fear of hurting others, because it's not, that need to hurt others is not inherent. It's a self-protective mechanism, like a survival mechanism. And this has disintegrated. This has faded because she's found something that she can stand on and rely on that makes her feel safe. And there's this knowing that it's going to take her where she needs to go. I've laid out 2 rows of cards representing the chakras, from left to right, left being the crown, the right being the root. The top row represents what we've been talking about and where we are, and the row below represents what you need to know. I felt like I needed to do this kind of chakra reading because of this major transition that's being felt. Okay? This full lunar eclipse feels like it's going to change a lot of things. Things are going to leave your life. However, these things are going to leave your life rather intentionally compared to the things that just happened to you. I feel like you're at that point in your journey where it needs intention. And you've done a lot of work regarding your value system. And so a lot of things in your life are being tested against this filter of your value system. If you look at the top row, you've got the Hermit coming back. It was the first card I pulled, and it's sitting in the root chakra. This is the thing that you are now standing on. You have found this thing, and you're going to continue to hold it close in your heart as you stand on it. You know that this is where your stability is based. And especially because you can't actually see where you're going. You know that you need to go there. This is the seeker in you. So you know that you need to go there, but you cannot see which direction it's going to. You can see the direction. You cannot see the destination. This is the Two of Swords in your sacral chakra. This is where you're creating. Okay. And then I have how you're showing up in the Five of Wands. And so this is where you're placing great importance on the showing up aspect. This is the part of you that's driving the vehicle. This is the part of you that's bringing change into your life. This is the number 5. Okay. And then in your heart, I have the Six of Swords, which is telling me about a great sense of healing. If you look directly below that, I have the Knight of Cups, introspection. But the Knight of Cups is actually an offering coming into your life. And now because of this open heart of yours, this departure from being overly protective, okay, it's like you're taking your sense of protection for granted. It does not mean that you cannot see the threats. You are very aware of the threats, okay? Some are self-imposed threats and some are external threats, okay? But this stability that you've nurtured inside, this sense of safety is not something you have to keep your gaze on anymore. You feel safe. You know that you're safe, and it's allowing your heart to open. And this is telling me, the Six of Swords is telling me that you are no longer returning to that skittish place, that place where you don't trust yourself or where you have any reason to feel that you are going to regress or that you are going to be fooled. Okay? And then in your throat, I'm seeing the Three of Swords. This is often depicted as, it says sorrow. It's often depicted as a very painful card, but I'm seeing it as a healing. I'm seeing it as a healing in your throat. This is because you're trusting yourself so much more. I'm seeing a stability coming out in terms of your wisdom, how you share. There's a sense of having earned these things that you share. You can rely on them because they come through you with a great sense of clarity because of your lived experience. Okay, and so there's no fear of this sorrow. There used to be a sense that when you stepped into certain spaces, perhaps you'd feel triggered by some of your own words, triggered by maybe the words and actions of others. However, now you have the words. You have the words that are instantly able to heal you and bring a clarity to others at the same time. This is why you're no longer afraid of your words. This is in the throat chakra. Okay, and so your voice is about to, or is sounding more healing than it was before, to you and to others. I have 1, 4, 3, 4, 4, 5 on the clock. These words are telling me that your words that you share are well meditated on. Okay, you know them well. You know your words. You've got like an ocean of words. I'm seeing this. You've got an ocean of words that you channel from. But every word of truth that you're channeling is channeled through this framework of lived experience. I don't know how else to word that, but the other thing that these numbers are telling me is that there used to be this sense about you where you would share these words, and because of that insecurity, you would still sit on those words long after sharing them, almost to reevaluate them in this circular motion, this like rotation where you'd go around your words and see and test them and check. You're not doing that anymore. Your words are well meditated on, you share them, and you move forward. And so I see energy saving here from this sense of safety. I jumped to the strength card before I moved through the third eye chakra. I'm going to speak about these cards together. It is your faith, okay? Your courage to have faith in the direction that you are going in, even though you can't see it. You can't see it. I must say this entire reading is very dark for me. It's very dark for me. From the first card, I felt like I don't know what I'm going to share. I felt like I don't know what I'm going to share. But it's your courage to have this faith, okay? Because this is the crown chakra. Faith, you're also trusting your mindset, you and your mindset's ability to heal, to continue to heal. So I see you still working on your mindset. I see that. However, this fish, it's taking me back to the fish. Standing on this part of it is what you have set your mind on, standing on this one thing. It's become like the cornerstone of this stretch of your journey. It might stay forever. It is that strong. It might stay forever. It has an ability to evolve. Okay, it has the qualities of a fish. Okay, that means that it does not live in stagnant waters. It moves away from stagnant waters. It moves in the direction that the water's flowing in. Okay, and you're standing on that. You're standing on that. Please apply this as you see it applying in your life, in whatever you're doing, in whatever it is you're working on in terms of your mindset and your, I want to say, daily routine, your way of living and your way of working and your way of being. You are also really indulging in what it is that your third eye has to offer. I see this energy, Ace of Wands, in your third eye. And this is what's making you strong right now, is your ability to trust this. The seeker is reminding me again that if you look at the contrast between your past and your present, your ability to move through the darkness has, like, I don't even know which word to use right now. I wanted to say quadrupled, but I think what I will say is multiplied exponentially. It has multiplied. You're at the point where there is no type of darkness that you will not move through. If I could put it that way. Darkness is darkness, like I want to say black is black. And so you've moved through black, and black cannot get blacker. That's how I'm feeling. And so it's this faith that is carrying you through. This doesn't mean that you are not fearful. This doesn't mean that you are not cautious. However, this is more around care and mindfulness than it is around fear. And this is something that applies more to decision making than it does to your daily flow. Okay, so it's when you need to make a bigger decision. Okay, that's when your mindfulness around which way to go. This is where you take the most caution at the moment, is when you need to change something. The two cards that sit below the in what you need to know, below Strength and the Ace of Wands, the Crown and the Third Eye, I have the Empress and the Hierophant. Okay, I can't emphasize more how much valuable wisdom you hold, and the ability of this wisdom to carry you. Okay, this is value and truth. This is an ability to reproduce out of value and truth. Those two are bringing me to the elements of earth and air, that is pentacles and swords. That is somebody here that I'm speaking to that is able to create value out of seemingly nothing. This is a powerful manifester. I'm speaking to a very powerful manifester with a strong value system, okay, and a very open channel. And look at this Six of Discs, Six of Pentacles, generosity coming out of the throat chakra. They're actually saying that this is the offering. If you look at between the heart and the third eye, between the Knight of Cups, okay, this is what's being offered to you, and the Hierophant, okay? So this is what you need to know, and I actually cannot say why you need to know this, but what you need to know is that you are working with a very, very ancient and powerful teacher who is dedicated to consistently sharing this wisdom through you. However you end up expressing it, they approve of how you're expressing it and your decisions thus far. Okay, I think that's why we needed to know this, because I tend to feel like these kinds of messages, you know, where you get told that, you know, you are chosen or whatever, I feel like it tends to come into this ego space that can detract from the path. But the reason that you need to know this is for the purpose of reassuring you that you don't need to look back. You don't need to look back. In your solar plexus with the Five of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles, they're also saying that the more you create, the more you will transform. Okay? And so it's important to recognize that whenever you come across this shifting solar plexus energy that we can translate as a nervous feeling, anxiety, it is a sense of growth. It is how you're growing. It's a sign that you are expanding and that you're needing to almost stretch out into this new expandedness. You might not be able to, you won't be able to see what exactly is expanding until it's expressed. Then you'll be able to observe in hindsight the expansion and the result. But they're saying even that movement in your solar plexus, trust it. Trust its value. Okay, I'm hearing forged in fire. Is that what they say about iron or steel? Forged in fire. And I'm seeing this steel they're now being turned into this really strong and clean sword. That's what I'm seeing. And so it's the growth of your sword that is actually taking place as you feel and connect with this anxiety. It isn't what it used to mean to you, which is a warning or a caution to slow down or to be careful what you're going to say, a sign of danger. It's not a sign of danger. And they're saying that in these moments of uncertainty, which will inevitably arise, they literally forced those words out of my mouth. My mouth wasn't moving fast enough. They're saying, I'm seeing this in your sacral chakra. There will be times where you don't know what you're about to create. I don't know if this is speaking to the instant or if this is speaking to the period, if you know what I mean. But they're saying that have peace in these moments. Have peace because it is just for that time that you can't see what's coming. But if you look at this in what you need to know, the Knight of Wands sitting underneath the Hermit is taking me back to the fish, is to say you just keep moving on that fish. You keep that cornerstone. Keep that cornerstone. Stand on it. It will take you where you need to go. I'm speaking to someone who has been sitting on this one thing for a very long time, unsure about it. This lack of surety around this thing is what's being eclipsed. What's protecting this thing is all the things that are being eclipsed around it. Mindfully, intentionally. These are the thoughts that used to hold you back. Instead of wishing them away, instead of trying to act like they're not there, instead of being hard on yourself and forcing yourself to keep working on them, to do something with them, instead of that, you are balancing their impact out by moving forward on what you do know and staying dedicated to what you do know. Because you do not know everything, and you will not ever know everything, and you want to stay open, and to stay open, you need to not know everything. But what you do know is that you must move forward and that nothing is going to hold you back. I just pulled another card and I have the Death card here, card number 13. This is a rebirth. This is not only a rebirth, this is the beginning of the next stage of your life. I think that for a long time, you've experienced deaths and rebirths over and over and over again. But there's something that's been consistent about this last phase of your life. They're speaking to me about 7 or 8 years. They're speaking to me about that sort of length of time. There is an insecurity that's began to build at the beginning of the 7 or 8 years. There's an insecurity that started to build until it manifested. Okay, so this insecurity manifested into a lack of security. That, not season, that part of your life, that, the word season and the word phase, these words are not enough to express what I'm trying to express. And what's coming through is as if it's like an age. It's an age of your life. For example, being a baby is an entire age. being, maybe it's mixed in with being a toddler, all of that. You know, there's a phase of your life where you cannot speak and then you start speaking, and then you have the learning phase. The learning card actually popped out at me. You have this learning phase of your life where you go through school and you journey through school. And then when you're done, there's this huge decision that needs to be made as to what path you're going to take now that, you know, your parents' job is done. Or, you know, I know some of us perhaps grew up without parents, and this is more about what this symbolizes, the stage of your life where the learning is done and now you've got to go out into the world and start making more of your own decisions. And then there's the age of your life where perhaps you are, some of you having children, or, you know, living in the way that you always envisioned you would live, or pursuing that way of living, for example. Okay. As you continue to learn, you know, when like a doctor learns in service training, for example, I see that phase of life as sort of in-service training. Okay. And there's a lot of work that goes into this phase of life as well. There's a lot of work that goes into it. When I say work, I'm referring to whatever you see as your job or vocation, or whatever keeps things stable for you. And then there's this retirement phase. There's this retirement phase where you feel like your work is done, you're retiring, and it promises this ease. I feel like the phase of life that you're entering into carries an ease, but without that vacancy that sometimes follows people into retirement. And by retirement, I'm referring to, just to put it into context for this reading, I'm referring to feeling responsible for others. I'm referring to this transaction where you give parts of you as a trade to retrieve stability. I'm seeing you totally secure in what you've built in yourself and just having enough to share. And this enough has a way of replenishing itself because of its source. You're entering a new age of your life, and you're entering it not prematurely. You're entering it early. And when they say entering it early, they're expressing this in the sense that perhaps you've waited a long time for this, and perhaps your mindset was not allowing you to embrace the fact that this age of your life has now arrived. And so it's early in that stage. And they want me to caution you, because of mindset, they just want me to share with you that it was always going to feel like it's come early because you never knew when it was going to arrive. And it just needs you to open up now. So this is that Knight of Wands and this Hermit. This is just moving on what you know. Moving on what you know. It no longer has those things that weigh you down. It doesn't have those things. You've done a lot of cleaning up. I feel like that's been the theme of this moon phase that we're going through, that we're moving through these moon phases. We're coming through a new moon in Virgo that's behind us, and we're moving into a new moon, another new moon in Virgo. Sorry, are my words, you know. And in between that is this full moon, full lunar eclipse in Pisces. Pisces being the last of the signs in the zodiac. This is a lot of wisdom lived experience, learnings from lived experience. You're becoming your own teacher and your own implementer. You're integrating everything you've learned, and it's cleaning everything up. This is Virgo energy. And it is cleaning up your sense of stability in a way that you can really rely on. Okay? And that's because it is built on a strong foundation. I asked what you can expect, and I got the 3 of Pentacles. It has a triangle at the back, reminds me of a pyramid, and it's got these 3 circles. I meditated on this for a while because I felt like there's the sun and there's the moon, and I felt like there's you. And I felt like this is, you can expect to feel supported. You can expect to feel stable, and you can expect to feel empowered through your showing up through the darkness. And I got the 7 of Swords. Look at how this fox is holding one sword. This card is telling me that things around you will continue to change. Things around you will continue to change. And it's funny because this 6 of Swords is sitting right underneath the heart chakra here. With this, the 7 of Swords is sitting right underneath the heart chakra here with the 6 of Swords at the top and the Knight of Cups. And it's saying you hold on to your sword. Things around you, you will observe things changing. You will keep observing things changing. You found the stability through receiving the truth through what is offered to you. They're saying that this will continue to carry you well. Okay? And so do not be thrown by all the changes or whatever. You hold on to your sword that's constantly being offered to you. It has the ability to evolve with the times in a way that still maintains its integrity and truth. Okay? And so perhaps its shape will change. Perhaps the handle it goes with may change. And when that needs to happen, that's when you can continue to trust. You can trust that it will continue to be forged in fire. That's where it all began. I hope that you found this reading insightful. I've left details below for anyone who wants to support the channel and can. And I want to let you know that I'm also open for personal readings. I've left information on that in the description box as well. I'm wishing you all peace as you move through this lunar eclipse. It's coming up on the 7th, so we're about 3 days away. But the energy was already so loud. Sending you all so much love.